Well, Sharon Ravi, it was a long day in court for the former alderman, and he paid close attention the entire time and pretty much had the same expression on his face the entire time, especially when the judge handed down his sentence. His wife, Ann Burke, on the other hand, when that sentence was handed down, she did drop her face, only slightly looking like that she was going to be holding back some tears. Of course, the defense team was hoping that the judge would take into fact all of his good deeds and his age and his health and give him probation, but obviously that was not the case. She gave him 2 years in a federal prison. Now, Chicago's longest serving alderman, who is known for his oratory on the city council floor, left the courthouse with his family and attorneys without saying anything to reporters. Prior to Judge Virginia Kendall announcing her sentence of 2 years in a federal prison and a $2 million fine, Burke briefly addressed the court, not quite apologizing, but came close. He told Kendall, quote, "The blame for this is mine and mine alone. I regret the pain I caused to my family and friends." Now, prosecutors originally pushed for 10 years. Assistant U.S. Attorney Sarah Stryker telling the court that out of the 100 recordings presented at trial, it proved that Burke operated as, quote, "a seasoned professional when it came to graft, especially using his clout to steer business to his private law firm." In December, a jury convicted Burke on 13 counts of racketeering, bribery, and attempted extortion. Burke's attorneys did an effective job of conveying to Judge Kendall his good character. She received hundreds of letters of support from prominent officials and ordinary citizens who wrote acts of kindness. Burke's attorney described him as a priest without a collar. Kendall did take into account Burke's good acts as well as his age. Now, just a short time ago, the acting U.S. Attorney Morris Pasquale released a statement. He said, quote, "When an alderman fails to discharge his duties with honesty and integrity, he betrays not only the citizens of Chicago, but his fellow public officials who do their jobs the right way. Our office will continue to vigorously prosecute corruption and hold public officials accountable for violating the public trust." Now, Ed Burke is the 10th alderman to be sentenced to prison since 2006. Live at the Dirksen Federal Building, Sarah Schulte, ABC 7 Eyewitness News. Back to you.
All right, Sarah, thank you very much. Well, we have lots of reaction, of course, coming in today to former Alderman Burke's corruption sentencing.
ABC 7 political reporter Craig Wall joining us live tonight with the latest on that part. Craig.
Yeah, this longest serving and arguably the most powerful alderman in Chicago's history was credited, as Sarah was mentioning, with all the things he did to be serving people in the community. The next thing he'll be serving, though, is a federal prison sentence. Now, Burke arrived in court this morning with his fate in the hands of Judge Virginia Kendall. Prosecutors were seeking 10 years. The defense asked the judge to show compassion and mercy due to his age and all the good things he's done for more than 50 years. The judge showing some leniency, remarking that all the good he did over the years did not wipe out the 2 years of corrupt conduct for which Burke was convicted.
Clearly, this former federal prosecutor who's been a judge now for a long time was very bothered by the fact that the government chose to give Danny Solis a get out of jail card, whereas they were asking for her to swing to the fences for Ed Burke. She clearly didn't do that. 2 years, given what she could have done.
The judge took into account both Burke's age, some of the good deeds he's done over the years, but she wanted to send a clear message, and that message is corruption doesn't pay. Corruption ends up in a heavy penalty that should keep people from doing it more often.
I think the thing that's gotten lost is this is not a victimless crime. This is a man who operated on a system where he monetized his position and took advantage and took retaliation for people who did not bend to his will.
Authorities in mid-September.
Ed Burke can obviously appeal this appeal this sentence. He has to report to federal prison up in Oxford in Wisconsin on September 23rd. The mayor's office issuing a statement just a short time ago referring us back to the statement they released in December when the jury returned its verdict, in essence saying that public officials who break the law need to be held accountable. Today, there was some accountability for Ed Burke.
Watch breaking news on YouTube. Subscribe to ABC 7 Chicago Eyewitness News.